welcome to Next Gen Finance, an SEB podcast about sustainable finance. My name is Lina Apsheva, and today we will be diving into a topic that I'm sure hasn't gotten past any of you, and that topic is artificial intelligence. We will be talking AI in the context of sustainable banking, and we'll try to answer the question of how sustainable this technology really is, at least from the perspective of the finance industry. To answer that question, I have two brilliant colleagues joining me here in the studio today. It is Ala Tarighati, Chief Data Scientist, and Davidsson Suarez, Lead ESG Data Scientist here at SEB. Ala, Ida, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
There has been so much talk about AI in the past year or two. I think, honestly, it has been a topic that's... I don't remember any other topic that's been talked about so much in the recent years, just in terms of how much content there is. So I was even almost not sure if we should make an episode like this, because I feel like people are just overwhelmed with all the information about AI out there. But I do think it's still worth talking about, and especially putting forward this perspective from us at the bank. And even though I think all of our listeners probably already know what artificial intelligence is, I do think it's still worth starting with the question of what is artificial intelligence and what definition of AI do we at SEB use?
Yeah, I can start with the same definition I normally give. It is not my own, but I like it. It says, so if a human do something and we say we used intelligence, now if a machine does the same thing, we call it artificial intelligence. So that's very simple. But I think it says one of the scientific definitions is from, I think, John McCarthy, one of the fathers of AI.
What about you, Ida? Do you agree that that's the definition that you use maybe in your work the most?
Yeah, no, I agree with Ala. That is a very good definition. For me, it's basically working with data in different ways to make more informed decisions or viewing things from a new angle, assisting work in any type of way.
And I was going to ask you what you think of this explosion of AI as a topic in the recent years, but maybe it's also worth first talking a little bit about your roles so that the listeners understand kind of the context where you're coming from. So if you could just share a few words about what you do.
So I am a data scientist within sustainable banking, and that means that I focus all of my work on sustainability data. So how can the bank work with data related to sustainability in different ways? Can we work with machine learning on sustainability data? Can we work with data visualization? Any type of project really involving sustainability data.
Yeah, and I'm in technology division. We're like a group-wide team within Group Data and Analytics Office. And what we're doing is helping basically the whole organization, including sustainable banking or all other divisions, becoming more data-driven by using, regarding this, like podcasts regarding AI, how to use artificial intelligence, machine learning in their daily work. So we are helping the organization with use cases, with the way of working, education, strategic planning, and support in different angles when it comes to AI.
And you did hold a workshop recently for sustainable banking where I personally learned so much about artificial intelligence that I didn't know before. So I can definitely attest to at least the educational part of things. But going back to the question, what do you think of this explosion of AI as a topic?
So I think we had AIs in this format, let's say, since 70 years ago or so. Like researchers started working on it. There had been a lot of promises. But after every excitement in the history of during the last 70 years, we can say there was some winter because AI couldn't deliver. That's kind of one of the reasons, because it was not delivering what it was promising. But what happening recently is what we see with ChatGPT, with this AlphaGo stuff, with all the tools and technologies and use cases that people are actually paying for. AI is delivering, and behind the scenes there are different reasons for that. One is data. Now we have plenty of data that we can train huge models with like billions of parameters. The other aspect is the technology, the computing power. We have GPUs, like very powerful CPU or TPUs that we can train such models on that. So I think that these are one of the, like, this being like AI started delivering and people willing to pay for it. I think that's one of the reasons we see another kind of excitement around AI. And there are discussions if we are going to have like another winter or not. But I think that the debate is still there. I don't think we have the answer yet.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that I agree. I think that the general growth and the interest is really exciting and fun, and I hope, and it does, help accelerate like research and development in this area.
Absolutely. And actually, in the workshop that I mentioned, you had a little quiz with I think it was different years, and when we in the audience thought that AI was first mentioned, and I think everyone was probably shocked by the answer. I don't remember when it was, but it was definitely much earlier than most people would kind of think that AI came to be as a concept. But speaking of the bank, SEB, how exactly do we use AI in our work today? Ala, you touched on it a little bit, but could you maybe go a little bit more in detail? And also Ida with the ESG.
So one of the areas we are using AI is the customer growth. The idea here is that we are looking at historical data for small and medium-sized entities, and then some of them actually grew rapidly, some of them didn't. They didn't go well for them. So we use that historical data. We apply it to our like current customers. We predict what's going to happen within 1 year to our clients. Okay, and then according to that, we provide this information to our advisors. They can go and come and talk to customers regarding the owner of these, let's say, small or medium-sized companies or SMEs, giving them advice, and then we have some sort of prediction on what's going to happen if things are going to like continue as it is because of the historical trend. That's one of the areas that we are working with our customers. In the process automation, for example, we have plenty of use cases where we try to help and automate basically manual processes. It can be from labeling emails, it can be from extracting information from PDF, any type of document. It can be, I don't know, Word, it can be email, and so on. We have AI solutions for monitoring our IT systems. We have explicitly some neural networks, more than 100 neural networks as we speak now, that are used to monitor our IT systems. We have AI in financial crime prevention for customer service and also customer growth. These are some of the areas we have AI at the moment in bank.
From a sustainable banking perspective then, we're focusing solely on how we can use AI in relation to sustainability projects and sustainability data. It's kind of a new area, and it's growing every year with the rate of the growth of data available. But for example, we will look at things as estimating ESG data metrics on companies, small companies that don't report on anything, for example, or estimating, for example, energy efficiency of real estate, things like that. The portfolio analysis that I mentioned before is a new product that we can offer because of our data that we generate from AI. And another example is that we can create different type of investment baskets that are based on this data as well. So new products that we offer to some clients.
And I can imagine that there is also, just thinking of how AI can be used to improve efficiency in the bank, considering that so many of our operations are in the cloud, you can say. But for companies that are a little bit more hands-on, maybe some of our large corporate clients who have kind of operations on the ground, I can imagine that efficiency aspect also applies. So I'm wondering if you have heard of any specific examples in that area.
Yep, I think there are examples out there, and also there are like some areas that it can be useful, like for energy efficiency. We can use AI for prediction. We can predict, use this for example, disaster prediction, for renewable energy prediction, in the sense that how we should, I don't know, form or how many or how much our solar panels are going to produce energy. We can use AI for carbon capturing. It's not within like our organization, but I'm talking generally in outside and regarding sustainability. We can use AI for monitoring ecosystem. The images from satellites or drone can be used 24/7. We can have some sort of monitoring. I think recently some company, they started claiming that they actually have some AI tool to enhance our fishery management by quickly identifying the fish species and then reducing the bycatch. So this is one of the topics using AI, and some image processing in other industries can be used. I think there are plenty of other use cases when it comes to energy management in energy grids and so on.
Definitely a lot of possibilities for making different operations more sustainable. But if we go back to banking, Ida, you mentioned that AI can be used to assess sustainability data. Do you know of any cases on investment level or maybe on fund level where AI has been used to enhance sustainability performance or performance of sustainable investments, you can say?
We do use both reported ESG data and our own estimated ESG data to monitor and follow up on client portfolios, for example. So then we can see historically how they perform in terms of their selected ESG metrics. Typical things you would look at here would be, for example, carbon emissions and gender diversity in some kind of way. And then we can follow up on these portfolios historically to see that if they're improving or not.
So I think it's beyond doubt that there is a lot of potential and a lot of positive aspects of AI. But of course, as with everything when it comes to sustainability, there are also challenges. So I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about the different sustainability-related challenges that come with technology such as AI.
Yeah, I think I can comment on that. In the beginning, I was mentioning data and computing power. They are the important things behind what we see in our AI explosion, what we call it now. But they all come in with cost. So we have huge data centers, like these big companies. They are having huge data centers. They need to they need to provide energy for that. Some of them are claiming they're using a green energy and renewable energy to support their data centers. However, what we see in the reports is that they are using some fossil fuel backups for making sure that the data center is up and running, and they are moving the data centers to where their clients are more located, towards cities nowadays. Many more data centers. At the same time, we have computing powers. They also eat a lot of energy. These GPUs, TPUs but that are used for training machine learning models, they are eating a lot of energy, and that's also one of the downside of using AI regarding sustainability at the moment.
And speaking of circularity, I think I've also heard of just water usage of these data centers, right? That, correct me if I'm wrong, that they need clean water specifically to kind of cool down the different mechanisms. And even that is perhaps something that you wouldn't necessarily think about or link AI and availability of clean water. But nevertheless, that's another thing to consider. But that is environmental sustainability. And if we look on the social aspect, I was actually just this morning listening to another podcast where they were talking about AI being used for scamming, and certain groups in the society are more susceptible perhaps to falling victims to these type of scams. And I think a lot of people have heard of AI being used to generate voice and even images and, people being kind of scammed that it's their relative who's in distress and needs money or something like that. So could you elaborate maybe a little bit on the social aspects, and maybe another thing beyond the security aspect that I mentioned is also the issue of job displacement. And, people often talk about how is AI going to take people's jobs. So just looking at the social side of things, what do you think?
I think also with the rise of these Gen AI solutions, it is not only for practitioners can use AI. Basically, everyone can communicate or using or prompt with these models and get answers. It means that they can ask whatever question they want. We can consider kids or teenagers. They can ask questions that might not be very proper, and then they can get answers from these systems. They can, as also you mentioned, they can ask such systems or these models to provide scenarios for cybersecurity, for scamming, and for all these stuff. And also job aspect is one important things. One very important aspect from this artificial intelligence is that we are trying to implement intelligence into these systems. There is no let's say emotion or consciousness into these systems, while we human being, we also have intelligence together with emotions. So which means that these systems, they don't have any emotion, so they can make decisions based on some mathematical formulation, and that can impact human being who are is asking question or is or I don't know, it can be used for providing some answer or some solution to human beings. So I think this is very important aspect of using AI. And the other thing is that we human being do mistake. Okay, and when we are training these AI systems, we are using our data to train them. So implicitly, we are carrying all the biases, all the ethical thingy that might be in our data to train these models. And also, these models are not perfect. They will and they are making mistakes, and these mistakes can provide some misinformation. Then this misinformation can be kind of feedback to the model for the retraining, and then it can amplify all this misinformation. They can also be used for a disinformation, for this propaganda. We already heard about this Cambridge Analytica company. We heard about the deep fake, all these aspects of AI. I think they are all there. We need to be aware of them, and we need to know that these are some of the risks that we identified at the moment so far. Potentially there are more risks when it comes to a social level.
I think in terms of the scare of AI taking your jobs, I think I choose to view it more as AI supporting you in your job. I don't think we're quite there where AI will start taking over multiple types of job functions, but rather just helping you be more effective and better. I see it as a complement to what we do.
So we've talked about quite a few benefits, and we've also talked about some challenges. And now I'm wondering, can we answer the question of are the benefits created by AI worth the challenges that also come with it?
I definitely think so. But of course I am biased. But also just in terms of the challenges, a kind of small scale answer from my side, but we do in our team, work actively with trying to reduce our impact in terms of how much resources we use. There is a lot of things that you can try to do to mitigate this, like being more effective in your data storage or your querying. And also when you do a model, for example, don't choose the most resource intense model there is, because it's cool and it improves the model a tiny bit, but maybe a simpler one that's not so resource intense will suffice in most use cases. And I think as long as you work with that kind of sustainability in your mind, it's absolutely worth it.
Yeah, I tend to compare it with computers. I think before and after having computers. So, like having computers, of course, it impacted job market. At the same time, it created new jobs. So we have like software developers and all this stuff. What it means is that we need to upskill ourselves. We need to be ready for like using such technology. And I think AI, same as other technologies, it has its pros and cons, and I don't think we are there yet to be able to judge if this is useful. Is the pros more than cons, or other way around? But what I hope is that it, same as other technologies like computer, it will be like a part of our daily work and maybe daily life. So I think it's important to know how it works. It's important to know what are the risks regarding AI, what we are dealing with, and be aware of it, and then trying to mitigate and solve some of the issues that is providing. I think that's important, not just blindly using this technology because it's a cool technology. I think it is going to impact and change a lot our way of working.
Absolutely. And from my perspective, I think it's extremely important to look at it as part of the whole society and of the whole ecosystem, both natural and, human-made, I guess you can say. Because even if you look at the question about energy, we have to focus on transitioning the whole energy system to renewable energy, to more greener solutions. And as we do that, then the some of the problems created by resource consumption by data centers, for example, will also hopefully solve themselves. But yeah, a lot of questions and a lot of possibilities. And I'm sure that we will talk about this topic again and again as it develops. But before I let you go, Ala and Ida, I was wondering if you could give advice to people in the financial industry when it comes to AI, how to approach this topic moving forward and just what to keep in mind.
Yeah, I think nowadays in our organization, it's hard to think about coming to his organization, working at SEB, for example, and not knowing how to work with computers. I think this is something we need to be prepared when it comes to AI. We need to know the basics of AI. It doesn't mean that you need to be an expert, but I advise everyone to have some basic understanding on how they work, because knowing how they work behind the scenes, it gives you more understanding on what are the possibilities, potentials in your daily work, and also what might be the potential problems or risks when you're using AI. At the same time, you already mentioned we shouldn't consider AI like a silver bullet. This is just one component of a very complex, let's say, puzzle.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say something very similar. See it as a complement or a possibility to add extra assistance to your work. But also, be aware of challenges and risks. AI is not, the answer to everything, and there can be a lot of errors and risks in using AI too much as well. So I would always say definitely use it, be interested, be curious, but see it as a complement to your work.
Great advice. Thank you so much. What a fascinating subject. And I really do hope that we can continue this conversation in the future as well. And thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
And a big thank you, as always, to all of our listeners. Thank you for tuning in this time. As always, if you have any questions or suggestions for future episodes, feel free to email us at nextgenfin@seb.se. But for now, thank you and goodbye.